What's up, you guys? Slim here at Team Symmetry, here to bring you guys another deck profile. Thank you guys so much for the really positive response on the Malefic deck profile that I did just yesterday. I asked for 25 likes, and I would do my Dark World deck profile, and in less than a day I got my 25 likes. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys so much. I'm actually talking to actually one of my subscribers right here on the chat. I'm not going to pull up the chat though, but really cool guy. Name's John. Shout out to you. Was just saying how much he appreciates what I do and wants to really support me as I work on my way to partnership. So shout out to him and shout out to everybody that's been, like I've said before, on this crazy ride with me since we started. I don't want to waste any more of your time, so let's get into it. This is the Dark World deck that pretty much card for card I'm going to take to the upcoming regionals out here in San Jose on January 7th. This is the deck. I literally fell in love with this deck. I never thought I would, but it's amazing, and I'm just going to get into it real quick. So we're going to start with, I'm sorry you guys, it does run 3 Tour Guide. Tour Guide makes a deck consistent. I can't stress that enough. You Tour Guide for Brow, you can bounce back Brow for Grapha. The plays are broken. Sangan's in there because it's a Tour Guide target. It searches Tour Guide, it searches Brow. You have to run these 4 cards together. One Fabled Raven. Everyone knows Fabled Raven is amazing. It's an amazing discard outlet. It increases by 400 for each, card discarded, and it increases its level. It's your only tuner, so it does open synchro shenanigans, so it's really important. So those are the first 5, and then we're going to get into the standard Dark World engine. Of course, 3 Grapha. This card is busted. It really is. Bounce back a Dark World, special it from the grave, discard it, do a discard effect, pop a card, broken. Of course, 3 Snow, that's your recruiter, searcher, whatever you want to call it. Under the Gates of Dark World, it's 2000, it's your deck dev target, it's, again, busted. 3 Brow, your draw engine. With the field, it becomes a Pot of Greed. Who wouldn't love a Pot of Greed? I would love for Pot of Greed to come back, but this is the closest thing we have. And I run 2 Beige. 2 Beige because as much as I love Silva and Gold, sometimes they can be a dead draw, and if you're trying to summon Grapha for game, you need a normal summon, and that's your normal summon to bounce back for Grapha. Also, this card is broken with the field because, you remove your Fiend, drop this. When this card is discarded, you special summon it, so basically you'll discard it, you'll special it, you'll draw off of the Gates of Dark World, and then you can bounce it back, and you still have it normal summon. So you can basically go for game off this card. I really like this card. Under the field, it's 1900. Crash with Thunder King, crash with whatever's in your way. Just really good overall. So those are the monsters. It's not a super big monster lineup. It's, I think, identical to the one that Brandon Wigley would have probably topped with. He went 8-0 and then he got DQ'd. You guys can check out his deck profile. That's where I got the inspiration for this build. So yeah, so I don't want to take credit for anything. Like I said, when I picked up Dark World, I wasn't sure how I was going to build it, but I figured I might as well go with what works. So yeah. Alright, of course, the spells, 3 Gates of Dark World, amazing card, amazing field. It's so good. Like, the plays are busted. When you draw this and you have like Dark Worlds in your hand and you already have a Fiend in the grave, you're set up for a while. Of course, 3 Drag Down to the Grave. I like running 3. Some people like running 2. Drag Down's really good. It's hand control, which makes this deck so good. This is why I like this deck. I like knowing what's in my opponent's hand, and it makes me a better player because then I know that I won't misplay or I'll see things differently. Like, people hate this card, and I know why. In the mirror match, it's a bitch, of course, because, like, most likely when you drag down, you're only trying to drag down for 1 Dark World. That's what I always try to do. And in the mirror match, it sucks, because then your opponent's going to plus, you're going to plus, and then it's whoever pluses the most to win. So, yeah, but overall, it's an amazing discard outlet and an amazing card. Next, I run 2 MST, Spell and Trap card removal, obviously. I just have to get those bottomless out of the way, the deprison out of the way. When Grapha gets deprisoned or bottomless, it sucks. Like, it's really hard to bring back. You can't even really bring it back, to be honest, so yeah. Card Destruction, I don't even need to go into it. Fuck this card, like, seriously. When you go Card Destruction with a handful of Dark Worlds, it's like plus Central. It's ridiculous. And I know I said fuck this card, but, like, seriously. Even though I run it, it's too good. Foolish Burial, reason why you run Foolish Burial, you're only Foolish in Grapha, or a Fiend, really rare, but only Foolishing a Fiend if you need the field to go off. But Foolish Burial is for Grapha because it turns into an immediate Grapha if you have a regular Dark World in hand. People would say it's been called an inherent -1, but it's really good otherwise, so I run it. Allura Darkness because they're all dark. It's a draw. It adds to the draw engine. You got to do it. Let's see. And also, don't forget, you can, if you remove a 4 or lower, you can use your tour guide into Brow or tour guide into Sang in play to get Levier and bring back the monster bounce for Grapha, and you lose nothing. You just plus. One Dark World dealing, only one, because I've seen a lot of Dark World builds only run one. In the mirror match, you can be a bitch. It works at one because it lets you kind of see into your opponent's hand, and you can kind of tell what they're playing by what they discard. I mean, maybe you can't, but sometimes it's really hard when they have only one card in hand and they have to draw and drop, or when they have like key cards in hand and they don't want to get rid of them, you kind of force them to get rid of something good. So I like this card at 1. Like I said, feel free to comment below if you would change anything. Let me move on. Heavy Storm. I like Heavy Storm. It's good. It's Heavy Storm. Just don't Heavy Storm like a moron when you see 5 back rows, because obviously there's a Starlight Road there. Or a Dark Bribe. It could happen if you run Malefic. Monster Reborn, because it's Monster Reborn's favorite spell card in the game. Dark Hole, because you need mash removal. So those are the spells. Onto the traps. Triple Reckless Greed. This card is really good. I heard Brandon Wigley talk about it, and I've heard a couple other players talk about it. Some players don't like running this card. I think this card is amazing. When your hand is dead, this adds 2 more cards to your hand, and usually you can draw into cards you need. If you have Reckless Greed and like card destruction or like a discard outlet, you're pretty much set, because you can drag down, draw a card off, drag down, and then you can Reckless and refuel your hand, and that's why I like Reckless Greed. It really works well, and when you can chain multiple, it's just amazing. If you can chain like 2 at once, you pretty much win, because you're going to draw into your outs. So yeah, it's just amazing. 2 Mind Crush, of course, because of all the hand control. And of course, Trap Dust Shoot. I don't know why I put Solemn before Trap Dust Shoot, but Trap Dust Shoot should have been first. Trap Dust Shoot and Mind Crush, they're beautiful. That's it. They're beautiful. Solemn Judgment, of course, because it's just, like I said in all my decks, it's just, you need it. Like, it's a really good card. Being able to stop anything is nice. It does cost you half your life, but usually the key play with Solemn will win you games. Or that's just what I've experienced in my games. And then I run Mirror Force and Torrential for mass removal. Sometimes you need it. Sometimes I'll Torrential my whole field, knowing that I can just, resummon Grappa for game. And Mirror Force, of course, because a lot of people don't see Mirror Force coming. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe because a lot of plant players aren't running it. Some do, and I like Mirror Force. I've always liked Mirror Force, and I feel that, if you have the room, why wouldn't you run it? It's just a really good card. And then the last trap is Deck Devastation Virus. I can't tell you how good this card is. This card is just, like, when you open with this against, like, if you know you're playing plants, it's amazing. Not only is it amazing because it hurts a lot of their cards, but you get to see into their hand where your Mind Crush and your your drag downs, all of that comes into play, and the synergy of the discard outlet with this deck is just amazing. I've played against every main deck in the meta, like in person and on Dueling Network. I do have to say I did lose to Rescue Rabbit because they opened the nuts game 1, and then against another player I was able to win, but I do want to actually play against Real Rabbit, like in real life, to see how that match would go. So yeah, that's definitely something I want to do. If people have Rescue Rabbit built on Dueling Network, let me know, and I'd definitely love to play against it to see, how competitive this deck is against Rescue Rabbit, because I know Rabbit is definitely going to be a contender at the upcoming regionals. So yeah, so that's the 41 card main deck. I'm gonna get into the side real quick. This is where I need your help, guys. Like, honestly, Slim needs your help. I have been working on this side deck, and I'm literally like getting no sleep over it because I cannot decide what I should be, if this is good enough or if I should change some things. So please, you guys, if you have any suggestions, please comment below and let me know. I'm running 2 Thunder King because Thunder King's amazing. 2 Raikou because Raikou needs to get rid of that pesky Naturia beast that Karakuris are running, and it also can, be a mill outlet for my graveyard with Gates of the Dark World. So I run 2 of those. Those are like the only monsters. I run the 3rd MST because back rows are a bitch. 2 debunks for those pesky Max C's. Not so much Valor, but Max C and, cards that trigger in the grave like Glow Bulb, Dandelion, whatever it is. Debunk's just really good. It's really good against plants, really good against a lot of other decks, so I side 2 of those. Then on to my Banishing Cards. Of course, 2 Bottomless, 2 Deep Prison, just like in the Malefic deck. These cards are just really good. You have to run them. They're good against a lot of decks that like to attack and like to summon, so it does a lot of work. 2 Rivalry of Warlords because all the Dark Worlds are dark. Hurts plants, hurts a lot of different decks. So they're there. They're good. That's all I can really say on that. 1 Starlight Road because of all the traps and stuff I side in, if I don't have like, I mean, if I'm setting a lot and they heavy storm and I don't, if I don't drag down, I don't get rid of it with drag down or like Minecraft or something, it can really hurt. Calvin the Kid has done it many times and it's been a bitch because we weren't playing sided and I could not, I could not call it. He would rip it off the top and it would destroy my field. So you need Starlight Road on the side. And then the last card is Dark Smog. One Dark Smog. Reason for Dark Smog, I really like its effect. I don't like it in the main, though. I've tried it in the main, and it's been okay. I've been trying a lot of random things. I've been trying a terraforming in the main. I've been trying a dark smog in the main, and this is the only build that I've been pretty consistent with. Here on Dueling Network, and then just like in real life. I mean, I don't have the Raven yet, so I was proxying the Raven, which is shameful. But I was proxying the Raven or using a terraforming in its place. So it works though. Yeah, and then just onto the extra deck. Number 17, of course, because it's a really good starter opening play. 2 Leviair, because Tour Guide Leviair is busted. 1 Zen Mane, which I still have to pick up. This card is ridiculous. This card is, like, so good. It's, like, it's an amazing play, like, when you're in a tight situation. 1 Utopia, just for when I can go double rank 4. Let's see, or double level 4. Trishula, all the plays that Raven opens, this is why these main synchros are included. We got Trishula, Stardust, Scrap Dragon for the 8s, for the 7s, we got Black Rose, Ancient Fairy. Ancient Fairy is really cool because you can do almost a mini loop with the field that's really busted. Plus it's a 3000 defense wall, that's really good, really hard for your opponent to answer. Ancient Sacred Wyvern, this card is busted also because it's so good against agents, because like they pay early in the match with Gachi Gachi and the Shine, not Gachi Gachi, Venus and the Shine Balls into Gachi Gachi. So this card can win you games because it can get so strong that the difference in life points can be the difference between you winning against your opponent. 1 Dark Highlander. Dark Highlander is really good. Stops your synchros, completely like shits on plants. It's ridiculous. Really good card. Shout out to my friend Travis who hooked me up with this card in real life. Really hard to find for some reason. People didn't have it, so I was happy that I could find it. 1 Bryanek, obviously, discard outlet. Although Bryanek has been eroded, you do have to send them to the grave. Let me see if they've eroded on here. Yeah, it has to be sent to the graveyard. So with D-Fissure and Macro out, Brio kind of sucks. So yeah, just keep that in mind. 1 Ally Justice Cataster, obviously, and then 1 Stygian Insurgents because it can attack twice if it destroys a monster, and it's also a fiend, so it would get a 300 boost from Gates of Dark World. So yeah, there you go, you guys. I said I would profile the deck. I have kept my word, but I really do need your guys' help on this. Please, if you can think of any suggestions in the main deck or any changes you would do besides tour guides, don't tell me to take out the tour guides. I know some people would say that, but I really like tour guide in the deck. The side deck, though, is really important, though. I need to fine-tune the side deck. I've been talking to my team about it for the last couple of days, and this is what is key in winning the mirror match and winning other matches. So if you guys have any suggestions, anything you would take out, anything you would add, if you like what you see, let me know. That's pretty much it, you guys. Thank you guys once again for the support and all the likes and everything. I'll have another thing up here with likes to do with the next deck profile of something coming up. So that's all I got to say, you guys. Slim Team Symmetry. Hope you enjoyed the deck. Thank you for watching.